My name is Kania, Minister of State for Urban Development, a Member of Parliament for Terego East Constituency on the NRM ticket, and Chairman of the NRM party in Terego. Recently, following the primary elections, I nominated as an independent candidate to contest in the general elections. I've had a few people asking why I nominated as an independent. I feel I should repeat what I said earlier. The idea of primary elections is a good one for selection of candidates. But in practice, people have sometimes misused it, particularly those who are not registered, those who are underage, and those who prefer violence to use them to effect the results. And in the last elections, unfortunately, this happened rampantly, not only in Terego East, not only in Terego, but in many parts of the country. And therefore, in my opinion, and especially those related in Terego East, the primary elections were not credible at all. They were not credible at all because there was a lot of violence. As I said, there was a lot of people who did not vote. Those who were genuine were harassed. And in some cases, declaration forms were signed outside the polling stations. Some were not even signed. In fact, in Terego East, the total number of people who voted were about 20,000. But when we did an analysis of the results, those out of 20,000, the declaration forms in close to 40 polling stations were either not signed by the presiding officers, or they were forged, or they were endorsed by wrong agents or unknown agents. And therefore, in our opinion, rendering the entire process not credible at all. We appealed to the tribunal. Unfortunately, the tribunal said even those declaration forms which were not signed, those were minor. They said those were minor mistakes. How could that be a minor mistake when the very law of the election required that the declaration forms must be signed by the presiding officer? So we disagreed with them, and we made a decision to make our appeal to the bigger court of appeal, which is the people. And that's why I'm standing as an independent, to appeal, to tell them clearly that the results were wrong and we are eligible to stand. Secondly, I also want to make it clear that by standing independent, first of all, it is a constitutional right. But most important in this case, it does not mean that I have negated my membership of the NRM party. I remain a strong pillar of the NRM party in Terego, in West Nile, and in Uganda. And in my politics since 1993, I have not only preached this, I have practiced it. I have served in many departments of the party, and therefore there's no way that I can let down my party. To say by standing independent I am destroying the party would be like saying Jesus Christ is destroying Christianity. The word Christianity means coming from Jesus. So there is no way that Jesus, by changing what he does, can be saying he's changing and he's discrediting the party, the Christianity. So in a similar way, I remain fully committed to the ideals and the principles of the party. I stand for the correct procedures and the right decisions. So my decision to stand independent is to correct those mistakes. Therefore, since I nominated, I am setting up my campaign structure, and I think the response from the public has been very good. Very many of our people who support the NRM party in Terego are absolutely excited and happy. Actually, they were worried that I was not going to come and stand. They are very excited and happy, prepared to campaign for me. And my hope is that definitely I'll win the general elections and come to save the party. Therefore, in my own estimation, I am the true NRM candidate. I don't want to analyze those who have stood on the NRM ticket and carried the flag, but certainly they are more pretenders than real members of the party. If you see the history, how they were introduced in the last month of the primary elections, introduced by the opposition to Terego, not only to Terego East, but to Terego, to their own villages, taken by the opposition to be introduced as candidates of NRM. How can a Muslim Qadi take somebody to be introduced as a bishop in a Catholic church? That is not possible. Doesn't mean that a Muslim is a bad person, but by the doctrines of the two religious bodies, obviously the one who knows about the Christianity or Islam or vice versa is the one who belongs to that party, to that doctrine. So I don't agree, and I believe that the people who are competing with me as NRM are true NRM. For the sake of impartiality, for partiality, not to be seen to affect the issue, in my favor, I have ceded the administrative functions to my next senior person. Unfortunately, in Terego, the elections were so bad that the entire deck almost has abandoned and they've gone to stand. Beginning with me, my vice, Honorable Anim, the publicity secretary, and the chairperson for the women league. All of them have gone to stand. Actually, there is another indication that there's a total dissatisfaction, and therefore we have ceded our functions to the general secretary, who is for running the party for the time being. And definitely we have given him free hand, together with the secretariat at the national level, to run the party while we go and save the party from the electoral process by standing.